Welcome back to the world of Wraith. Today, I got with you guys 4 heroes that I think are good options for new players. Shout out all the new players. I see the game growing, and I wanted to make this for you guys essentially, people that are looking out to what hero should I buy, what would I want to play. If you don't want to sink a lot of money into the game, but you still want to try it out, you still want to play at your armory level, I think this is the video for you. Now, before we get into the heroes, I want to talk about a quick guide. I'll be talking about how difficult it is to play a hero, and then how hard it is to play the hero perfectly. It's how good it is in the meta, and what budget options do you have. Every deck would love Command and Conquers and a Tunic, and by all means, you should get those cards if you really want to play them in the game. They're generic, so they'll go into many of your decks, but I know not everybody wants to buy those cards. So I'll talk about budget options for the deck and overall how much money you can really, you don't have to put a whole lot of money to get a good armory deck. I'll talk about their playstyle, and I'll talk about how fun it is to play the deck. And I'll also talk about Living Legend. Now, for all of you that don't know what Living Legend is, since Flesh and Blood is a non-rotating card game, which means our card pool, for the most part stays the same as long as they don't get banned. The way the game stays, fresh, and the way that decks rotate out of the format is once the hero wins enough events and he passes the threshold of 1,000, that hero is no longer legal and will only be able to be played in the Living Legend format. Now, without further ado, let's talk about my number one choice, KO. KO is a great budget hero. He has an armory deck. He's pretty simple to learn. So, his ability allows him to only have one weapon. Frankly, if he had 2 arms, 2 weapons, he would be OP. So, Alice has had to chop his arm off for that. Now, attack actions cards you own get +1 while they're in any other zone in the combat chain. All this means is that your attacks with 5 attack are going to become 6. Your attacks with 6 are going to become 7 anywhere except the actual combat. So except when you're blocking or attacking with them, you're going to have that +1 buff. And the first time you discard a card with 6 or more attack, during each of your action phase, you create a might. KO making a might every turn and carrying over that 1 damage is really big, especially in the late game. He likes using cards like Wild Ride and Bare Fangs, as he can actually afford to discard any card, and for the most part, there'll be a 6 or more attack card, and they'll get the additional benefits from Wild Ride, Bare Fangs, and other cards like Pulping. Now, some of his power cards are Blood Rush Bellow and Cast Bones, allowing him to do huge turns with tons of damages. As powerful as these cards are, they don't come with a downside. They're not attack actions, so if you're discarding them, a lot of the times you're going to miss on his additional effects that give you, bonuses when you discard a 6 attack power card or higher. But they are worth the trade-off. They can set you up with really big and powerful turns. His weapon, Mandible Claw, for 2 attack, it attacks for 3, and if you discarded a card with 6 or more attack, it gets Go Again, allowing you to do a lot of damage and go wide. I would say he's not a difficult deck to learn, but to master, he's definitely harder. You gotta put in a lot of reps, and with his nature of discarding and drawing cards, your playlines are always going to be different. So he's pretty hard to play optimally. I would say he's pretty good in the meta. Ever since he came out in heavy hitters, he's been a good hero that, can hold his own. For budget options, I give him a 4 out of 5. He has an armory deck, and if you want to put more money into him, you can always put the money towards legendaries. He has some of the best equipment in the game. But I think if you get an armory deck and a Blood Rush Bellow playset as well as a Cast Bones playset, should be pretty good for an armory level. I know that the armory deck is a little bit way more expensive than, I think it should be 40, so it's over double. But it has valuable cards in there, and you can probably get it a lot cheaper at your LGS or talk to some of your buddies. For his playstyle, I would say he's aggressive, but he can also go kind of mid-rangey. He's able to block pretty well. He has good armor, and a lot of his cards block 3. Super fun to play. Discarding cards, drawing cards, and doing these big, powerful attack feels great. And in terms of Living Legend, he's at 707, so he's getting up there, but I don't think he'll Living Legend soon. I feel like we're gonna see KO for 2025. In my opinion, he's still gonna be here. But even if he does Living Legend, we have 2 other brutes that you can just slide right into. Play Reinhardt, or if you want to take a different approach, you can play Levia. Next up, we got Dashio. So Dashio lets you look at the top card of your deck at all times. And then once per turn, you can play a Mechanologist item with 0 or 1 cost from the top of your deck as if it were an instant, but it's going to cost you 1 more resource. Dash essentially can play 6 to 5 card hands, being able to always look at the top card of their deck. And they love playing items. Cards like Spark of Genius helps her get out items. And her items have a ton of utility. She has cards like Teklo Core that give her 2 resources at the start of the turn. She has cards like Teklo Pounder that give her +2 attack every time you boost, and it only does that 3 times. And I shouldn't say every time, it's the first time you boost in a turn. Now, what is boosting? All it means is banish a top card from your deck. If it's a Mechanologist card, you get Go Again. Something very big and vital to the Mechanologist playstyle. We have cards like Pulse Wave Harpoon that benefit off the times you've boosted. So, boosting is big to the game plan, and playing Mechanologist cards is huge in the game plan. Meaning, most of our deck, you actually don't even want to play generics. So you don't even have to worry about Command and Conquer. There's a great replacement for Tunic and Teklo Foundry Heart. And in terms of for weapon, you remove a steam counter from it to attack. And when you play a Mechanologist item, you put a steam counter on it. So it gives all your items essentially 2 extra value. Every time you play the item, you're gonna get, whatever effect it comes with, and it's gonna give you 2 attack worth of value on your Symbiosis shot. I would say she's difficult to learn. She has a lot of play lines, and having 5 to 6 card hands, a lot of the times when you're playing, Spark of Genius is going to let you draw a card, Cerebellum Processor is going to let you draw a card, and you know what card you're drawing since you're able to look at the top card of your deck, which makes her a hard deck to play optimally. I think it's definitely going to take a lot of repetition, and maybe looking back at your games and thinking what could have you done differently. She's a hard deck to play optimally. I would say she's pretty good in the meta. Ever since her Armory deck dropped, she's been seeing play. They had to nerf one of her cards and they had to ban it because she was so good. But even with the nerf, she's still doing her thing. Budget wise, there's always money you can put into your deck, but for an Armory level, I think if you get the Armory deck, a Spark of Genius, a Teklo Core, and a Teklo Foundry Heart, or I should say a playset of them, Teklo Foundry Heart only needing 1, since it's an equipment, you'll be pretty good to go. I think she's a great budget option. Her playstyle is aggressive. She likes to go again a lot and do a lot of damage, do big turns, but sometimes against more defensive decks, she has to set up, she has to slow down, and she can set up a really big turn. So I think she's also a setup deck against certain matchups. Very fun deck to play, and she's far from Living Legend at 152, so you got a lot of time to play her. Next up, we got Victor Goldmine. Victor, as a Guardian, I think Guardians are a great place for new players. They teach you a lot of the fundamentals, they teach you how to block, they teach you how to get value out of your cards. Victor, the first time each turn you create a gold token from an effect, you draw a card. So if you're making gold on your turn, you draw a card that lets you have more options, more cards to play with. If you're making a gold on your opponent's turn, that gives you more cards to block with. So Victor, just off that draw ability, is super strong. And the first time that you would fail to win a clash, you may destroy a gold, and then put one of the reveal cards to the bottom of its owner's deck, then clash again. So I'll talk about clash in a little bit, but all essentially is that's basically saying Victor can pay his way out and win fights. Just like the lore, just like the whole theme of Victor, he loves using gold to win fights maybe he shouldn't have, or to cheat out fights. We'll talk about Clash in one moment. Keep that keyword in mind. Some of his power cards are Visit the Gold main estate, allows him to create gold, and if you have 3 or more gold, it makes smite tokens, and the Golden Sun allows you to destroy gold and give it +3 and overpowered. You want to kind of use these together. Once you use all 3 of your Visit the Gold main estates, you should have a ton of gold. The last one's going to make you a ton of might, and then on your next turn you want to use the Golden Sun to use all that might and destroy a gold for a big attack. That's usually the end game plan. Right, now it's time to talk about Clash. When you clash, the clashing heroes reveal the top card of their deck. The hero that reveals the card with the greatest attack wins. Pretty self-explanatory, and Victor's second ability allows you to be even safer. He's already going to be packing a ton of powerful attacks with high attack value, but even if he loses for revealing, one of the 2 cards here, like Trounce or Test of Strength, that don't actually have attack value, you can use the second ability to destroy a gold, put that card to the bottom, and you reveal a new one, allowing him to cheat out victories that he shouldn't really be winning. But he got that money. Normally I put the hero's weapon here, but Victor, being a guardian, has access to different hammers for different matchups. I think his offhand equipment actually speaks more to him. It's treated as a gold and it blocks 2. So this being on your board when you play gold main estate already counts towards your gold value. I would say he's not that hard to play. You're going to learn how to block and when to do your offensive turns. So that makes him not that hard for, playing him optimally. He is not the best in the meta. He has a difficult time against Illusionist, and Enigma being one of the best decks right now kind of holds him back. But I think in the future, or even in your local meta, if you have more aggressive decks, more ninjas, card like Aurora or Zen, he's better in those types of metas. I would say he's kind of budget friendly. Unfortunately, he doesn't have an armory deck, but he's not too expensive. Once you get some of the Guardian legendaries, I'd say you only really need Aurum Ages, but getting a card like Tectonic Plating or Tunic, if you want to put more money down, will help him out tremendously. His playing style is very defensive, and he wants to set up his gold main estates, just wants to play all of them. By the time you play all of them, if you still have your Aurum Aegis up, that should be 4 mites minimum on your last gold main estate, I should say. But a lot of the times while playing Victor, you'll just be creating gold. So I've seen gold main estates make 10 mites, I've seen crazy stuff. He's pretty fun to play with. Guardians block a lot, so that's something that I don't find too fun. I like being able to, use my hands offensively, and sometimes Guardians lack that. But people love Guardians. Guardians are a fan favorite class, so might be just your thing. In terms of Living Legend, he's at 399, so he's getting up there, but I think we still got a whole lot of time for Victor. He's definitely going to be around for 2025. Last but not least, one of my favorite hero, Fi's. Fi revolves around Draconic Chain Links. Now, for 3 resources, you can target a Phoenix Flame in your graveyard and add it to your hand. And for every Draconic Chain Link you control, this costs 1 less. You might be asking, what's a Draconic Chain Link? Essentially, every card with attack that says go again will be a Draconic Chain Link. So if you have 3 cards that say go again, go again, go again on the field, you're controlling 3 Draconic Chain Links. He also cares about cards like Rapture, like Lava Burst. If it's played as Chain Link 4 or higher, it has +3. So his whole theme is around playing a lot of Chain Links, Draconic chain links help you get Phoenix Flame, as well as enable other effects like your weapon. But once you're getting to just 4 chain links, you can use your Rapture cards to do a big chunk of damage. Some of his key cards are Spreading Flames and Phoenix Flame. Searing Emberblade for 2 resources, you can attack, and if you control 2 or more Draconic chain links, it has to go again. So all you have to do is play 1 Draconic chain link, and then when you attack with this will count itself as a Draconic chain link. I would say he's not that hard to play. He likes to just attack, doesn't really care for blocking. He's usually forced into blocking against Guardians or Assassins, but you'd rather be using your hands offensively. I don't think he's super hard to play optimally. I think he's being outshined currently by a different ninja, Sen. But with the Haunted right around the corner, I think he's going to be getting a lot of cards that can help him, and he'll be seeing more meta play in my opinion. I would say he's not super budget friendly if you want to play him optimally. You know, there's 2 legendaries that are kind of pricey right now, but you can always play budget options like Mask of the Pouncing Lynx, and his main deck should be pretty cheap for the most part, as well as we're getting more support. So if you're a new player and you're going to be cracking Haunted packs, you're going to be getting cards for 5. Now, in terms of Living Legend, he's at 730, I believe. So he's getting up there on Living Legend points, but I think he'll be around. And once he does go, we're getting a new hero, Syndra, a new Draconic ninja. So if he does Living Legend, we'll have her to just play. Don't even worry about it. Thank y'all for watching. If there's a hero I missed, leave a comment down below. And go to your LGS. Check out the Haunted, leave a like, subscribe, and peace.